going, Damian?
It's going. It's going. It's kind of a hectic week. I know you were out on the West Coast for a while.
That's right. I was in Washington. Yeah.
Cool. I saw some of your pictures. Looks good, man.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. As a gift, someone gave me a trip to see the G3 concert, which is Steve Vai, Eric Johnson, and Joe Satriani, which is just one day. And they're like, well, you're going to be gone for like 6. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So I just packed up my cinema camera and I went and just had a blast.
That's cool.
How you been? What's new and exciting?
Well, I have an art show coming up. Yeah.
Really? How did you get into all that?
That's a great question. How did I get into all that? Well, I've always been creative, but one day I started with a camera, and then I started getting into wood projects and doing various things and using canvases with wood as my canvas. So not a lot of people are doing it. And I got into utilizing electricity to electrify the wood, right?
So is it fair to say to the ladies that not only are you electrifying, but Damian also has wood?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it kind of happened over time, but as I look back on it, it was always there. So I have done different shows, and I'm still obviously trying to get into it. The art scene is very difficult to break into.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir, musician for infinite amount of years, and it is not easy to make an impression and keep it going.
Now, here's a piece behind me in my background that's called Blackberry Pop Art.
I like it.
The whole thing is done with a Blackberry. Yep.
Very clever.
So, I mean, that's photography. Now the pieces take anywhere between 2 and 3 months to complete. Showing 9 pieces at the show, and it should be well attended. Over 10,000 people go there over a weekend. So.
Wow, that's impressive. Well, good luck to you. I will drink to that.
Sure. Yeah, the last time you and I spoke, we were kind of going to go on with the grifting, and I did post onto our site some grifting things, and those guys obviously are doing that full time. You and I are sitting here just trying to bring more and more attention to it. And what I did find, what I do for money is I've been in the gym business for a long time.
Right.
So I still maintain a good client base down here in Miami, and I have specialized in special populations, meaning the elderly. So the elderly, yeah, they lose husbands, they lose wives. I was telling someone about our show.
Oh,
and,
cool.
Yeah, about the grift. And she sheepishly admitted to me that she got scammed over a McAfee scam.
Oh, man.
Met them on her computer. I was like, you did not.
We have to call Pierogi, right?
Yeah. No, and she's still going through it. So when I discussed this with her, she got a text message on her phone from American Express. They were trying to charge her. McAfee. It's coming through as McAfee. It's getting really sophisticated. And I said, oh my God, you let them on your computer. No, call it American Express. They recognized it. They saw it. Said, do not let anyone on your computer, man. You cannot.
Absolutely.
And she's a widower. But yeah,
so,
it was pretty interesting that a lot more people are get wrapped up into being scammed. Everything from catfishing to financial. Like who do you trust today? And it's creating this undertone of who do you trust?
Sure. I mean, look at everything that's happening in the world. Just forget about the world. What about our country? Can we trust anything or anybody now?
Yeah, from the Supreme Court on down. And
I think we could go higher up and say the presidency, but
No.
yeah, listen, I'm a born Republican. Then I was an independent, and then I switched to Democrat. But I'm really concerned over, obviously, no one's stepping up over Biden and his cognition, and
Right.
they're doing a good job bringing it up, you know. And we're not really in a good place.
it's interesting because Biden is now going after Trump and his cognitive abilities. So what do you do when you have two elderly people who are running and neither seem to be, they don't represent me. I'll put it out there like that.
Exactly. You know, policy-wise, I'm obviously a little bit more left-leaning, but we are in a state that I don't know how you perceive it, but it's like, what will happen in November, and what will happen to us after that?
Right.
You've got Tucker Carlson going into Russia for a 2-hour interview, right? And this crazy talk show thing that you want to apply to it, Trump could actually choose him if he wanted to as his VP.
Absolutely could. Perfectly legal.
His crap. Now you look at the other side of it, scary as crap.
Yeah. I mean,
And the fact that the border, that the Dems gave the Republicans what they wanted in terms of the bill. And we're going to government for a lot of things, but they gave it to them, but out of spite, just to hand it to Trump and not having the American people as priority number one. That's why they're there, is to serve and represent whatever area that you live in. And I think that the system is great. It's set up fantastic. The one thing I have to say, and they don't bring it up enough, is the way in which we pass bills in this country. All right.
Sure.
So if you have a major decision in the biggest corporation in America, Boeing, should we go into space and create our own? Well, you're going to need a vote, right? And then those people were like, all right, well, this is our plan to do this, but this is what we want to do. And it's one singular thing. When we pass bills in this country, that's why you see all these fake news things. Well, they voted no on this. Well, the bill contains 89 things.
right. How do you go through that entire list and say that every single, I gotcha. I feel you.
Biggest corporation. So if you really wanted to clean it up, which they don't want to do, hand them a Scantron. Do you, yes or no, do you want more money for the U.S. House representative going for, I don't know, call it $220,000 to a repair in their bridge, right? Repairing their bridge.
Right.
Whatever. And it's on a bill that's labeled nothing to do with that.
I feel you. Yeah.
How we're making decisions. So now comes in special interests, and now they don't want to get rid of that because that's their power. But no organization in America would run decisions based upon one central thing. Should we or should we not acquire that property over there? Oh, but we have all of this other stuff going over here. Right? So it doesn't make any sense. And no one addresses that.
I have a response. Because you asked me how I would deal with that. This is how I deal with it. Number one, I get a beer. This one is from Eastern Europe. Specifically, where are we from today? Ukraine. We're from the Ukraine today. And no. This you can't. They're making a comeback, I'm told. So that's the first thing. Number two, the walls don't work. And I find it interesting when conservatives talk about, some conservatives, very far to the right, talk about walls. And, they always talk about history also. Like, if we don't learn from history, well, look what happened in China with the Great Wall. That was breached. And now that's a wall. That's an
They didn't want the Hmong coming over the wall, so they kept out the Hmong.
right. But it didn't work. They got through.
They got through anyway.
They conquered. It doesn't work.
Why do you want to be there? They need to take care of their own shit. Like,
Right.
why do you want to go over that wall? Right. So for centuries,
Right.
they get out of their own freaking way. I mean, we don't have this problem with Canada. They're like, oh, it's some moose hunters coming over. Oh no, God, they're in Northern Territory. Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
Heaven forbid they go for the Wolverines. But here's the other thing. So people are now circumventing said wall. People have been going under for years, but now there's a new technique that's happening, is that they're getting to Canada and going from the north and coming into the country that way. So, you know, it doesn't work. And so I'm not looking at it from political parties. I'm looking at facts. Walls have never worked. Unless you're going to, even they've had teams of snipers. They have all these vans waiting to throw these people in there and ship them back, all at our expense. And it simply doesn't work. They want to come over here for opportunity. Viewers, if you have things that you would like us to talk about, debate, look at, or whatever, you know, drop us a line, and you'll be able to do that very thing, and then we'll talk about it. And if you're a scammer doing so, boy, am I gonna so hard. And I do not use lube. I use pine tar.
I'm the guy dropping the pine tar on top of the pee-pee.
That's his grift.